My experience with this phone got off to a very shaky start, and I uploaded my first 24 hours with this phone on my podcast, which offended a lot of people. But over time, as I was using it across the month, Samsung's updates did start to kick in, and a lot of what I talked about before has changed. And so 1 month later, is this the best phone? Let's talk about it. Now, in today's 1 month later review, I'm not going to get into specs. Everybody already should know those. Literally go on any website, they'll talk about specs. I'm going to focus on my experience using this device over the past month. And I want to start with the design. If you're a businessman and you show up to a meeting with this and you put it down on the table, that's it. You won. You've got your $1 million deal. In fact, they'll throw in another $1 million just because of that. This is equivalent to going on a date and putting Lambo keys on the table. Like, you've got the deals, you've got the goods, you're the boss, okay? You control the meeting. When it comes to design, the S22 and the S22 Plus take the title, in my opinion, for the most elegant phones available. But the S22 Ultra, this design is business. I mean, look at the edges. Everything about this like screams business, except for my wallpaper. But moving on to build, it's phenomenal. There has been no damage to the body of my device thus far 1 month later. I will say I hate putting a case on this phone simply because it makes it even thicker than it already is, but it's important because this matte back is actually kind of slippery, and these camera bumps end up capturing a ton of dust around them. So having a case on that protects it definitely helps, and it helps keep your investment safe. But more than that, a lot of people on Twitter are starting to drop pictures of a cracked Galaxy S22 Ultra, and 99% of these pictures have cracks that are starting from the edge and going in. The curved glass on the edge is where the glass is the weakest, and so protecting it on all ends is kind of integral. And so you need to put in that you're gonna want to have a case for your device, and that's gonna make it even bigger. And before we get into the battery, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say, please subscribe. It really helps grow a small channel like mine. Liking this video also extremely helpful to me, and the monetary supply, which is basically my bank account for this YouTube channel. So it really does help me out. I really appreciate all of you helping a small channel grow. Continuing on with the video now. Now, the battery on this phone started off absolutely terrible, and it stayed that way for like 2 weeks. And I talked about this in my podcast, and people were shitting on me, quite literally. When I say terrible, I mean I was getting 5 hours of screen on time from this phone for like the full first 2 weeks, and that's just about the same as my Z Flip 3. A month later, now I'm consistently getting 7 hours of screen on time with my device, which is where I expect it to be. It's not blowing me out of the water, but I'm happy, I'm satisfied with exactly what this phone is providing me when it comes to the screen on time. My usage is pretty straightforward. Most days I go to Philly on a train, and so these are 40-minute train rides to and from Philly. So we're talking a total of 2 hours. And so that's time that I'm going to be on my phone doing things.
Do you know what it costs to have AC? I ain't make these rules up.
Then generally I have 15 minutes between each of the classes, and I don't take more than 2 a day. So that's a total of 30 minutes where I might be on my phone between classes on breaks. And then when I'm done my classes, I go to my apartment in the city to be able to start doing some of the business things. And that primarily entails me doing video conferences on my phone for about 1 to 2 hours. I don't like doing video conferences on my laptop or a tablet. Just because I don't like the front-facing cameras, and I like to do other things on those. And so back when I first started using this device, that's where I couldn't go any further. So at the end of that video conference, that was it. My device was at 0. I couldn't do anything else, and that was a problem because I'm someone who doesn't do breakfast, and so I would have to basically put this on charge and sit there twiddling my thumbs waiting for it to charge before I could go out and get a bite to eat. But obviously, like I mentioned, after this thing got optimized, that problem went away and it was a lot more comfortable leaving the apartment now to go out and eat and not worrying about the battery running out, because it does now do a consistent 7 hours of screen on time. Now, the display itself, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Samsung didn't even need to sell us on the display, just because in this day and age, people almost take it for granted how good these displays look. So I'm not going to dive into it. It's a great display. I have no complaints here. However, I can't say the same about the sound. Oh God. In the pursuit of honesty, the speakers are garbage. They're not garbage. They're not complete trash. They're like the premium garbage. You know, it's the garbage you get from the bourgeoisie. Okay.
The key is to be honest with yourself.
That's what the speakers sound like on this device. They're not total trash. They're like trash-y. They are usable for sure. The sound is clear, but it's quite tinny. It sounds like a tin can, basically. I searched online to see if this was an issue with just my unit, but actually this is a problem that a lot of people are picking up on. Now, I call it a problem. Is it really? No. I'm not really using the speakers a ton, and when I am, I don't really care if there's a little bit of a tin accent over the sound. GOS was an issue back when the phone first came out, but Samsung has released a few updates. I don't know if they made it to the North American market just yet, or North American devices, but as for me, I haven't disabled GOS, so I still have it just the way it was. Gaming is perfectly fine for someone like me. I'm not an avid mobile gamer, but I do play a few titles. And when I hit these titties, generally my sessions aren't more than 30 minutes, so the max I play is half an hour, and up to half an hour at one time. The phone does start to heat up, but it doesn't really heat up too much. It's still comfortable to the touch. The gameplay itself doesn't slow down either. Of course, there are moments inside each game where there's a lot more processing perhaps happening, and that might slow the game down depending on where you're at or what game you're playing, but it hasn't really affected me to the point where I need to complain about it on my 30 days later review. So what I will say is it's satisfactory. I like the way the games play on this. I like the way they look. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm happy with it. Speaking about how things look, I should get to the camera. It's amazing. I don't know what to say. The camera is good at everything. It's good at photos. It's good at taking long videos with stabilization enabled. It's good at all of that, and the results speak for themselves. S22 Ultra takes the cake for the best camera. Okay. We got through a lot. We got through absolutely a ton, but one thing I absolutely have to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, the S Pen. How could we forget the S Pen? First off, it's very nice. It's hard. It's got this very nice matte texture, which I've really appreciated, more so than I thought I would over the past 30 days. But functionality is also there. Are you editing images and cropping them and superimposing them onto others? Easy money. Are you copying text from apps that don't usually let you copy the text to have it? Easy money. Maybe you're in Italy, okay? You're at a pizza place and you get this menu that you don't understand at all. Basically, you can use the S Pen functionality to take a picture of what you need, to circle or crop exactly what part of the menu you want translated, and translate this entire foreign menu into understandable language. It can do that. So my point is, you're probably going to start using the S Pen a lot more than you think you would once you start figuring out all the functionality that it holds, and that was definitely the case for myself as well. But as far as multitasking, there is no doubt that this mammoth of a device can handle a split screen with 2 apps running and give you usable real estate on both apps to get things done. Absolutely. The fact though is that whenever I want to get deep diving into productivity, whenever I want to do that multitasking, I like to do it on tablets with Samsung DeX or on my PC or laptop. My point is that generally when I'm ready to work, I have these laptops or tablets around and I have a table to focus and do work on. And so I'm not really doing a lot of multitasking on my phone. I feel like I'm just beginning to scratch the surface of all the features that this S Pen brings with the multitasking capabilities inside this phone, and maybe as I start getting more and more into it, I might start really loving one certain feature and just start using it almost habitually. Who knows? We'll have to see. But get ready for this one. With all these functions and functionality and great things comes the size. And it's mad big. I've been wearing hoodies and coats because it's still been relatively cold, and so tucking this thing away was very easy. You know, just tuck it into my coat pocket or something and it was gone. But as these warmer months start coming upon us, I'm starting to wonder where I'm gonna stuff this. This is what I had last summer, and this was easy, okay? This was easy to put away. Everybody would forget it. But this thing, it is thick, fam. It's a thick boy. I personally am against putting my phone into backpacks, into briefcases. I mean, it's a phone. It's not a nuclear code, okay? Why would I put it away when it's supposed to be readily accessible, easy to take out, and get things done quickly? That's my personal belief. That's just the way that I think about a phone. It's there for you when you need it, and it's effective in doing what you need it to do. It's definitely effective, but can it be there when you need it? Definitely if you put it away in like a briefcase or a backpack and you sling the backpack over. I hate having to stop the hallway, like everybody stop, swing the backpack around, start digging, you know, through all the things in there, Skittles and whatnot, find the phone, take it out, swing that backpack back, probably cause 2 concussions at this point, and finally start using my phone. I'm not about that lifestyle, okay? So keep me away. Anyways, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Those are all the things that I've come up with to share with you guys about this device exactly 30 days later. A lot of things got much better after that 2-week period where I guess it was determining my usage and optimizing based off of that, which is fine. I mean, each phone takes its time. The Z Flip 3 took about a month before it started giving me 5 to 6 hours of screen on time. So this giving me 7 hours after 2 weeks, I guess it's not that bad. The GOS issues also seem to be addressed by Samsung. They're rolling out new updates, which is great to see. So I think overall this phone only has good things to come. I don't think there's gonna be bad news coming out about this device, and so if you're on the edge about whether you should get it or not, I think the main considerations for you guys should be, once again, the size. You might think to yourself, I'm not gonna use the S Pen, but I think you're gonna end up using it anyways, just because of how usable it is and how many features are packed into it. But the size is the only barrier to this device. Do you have a proper way to put this away? Because if you don't, and you're like me and you don't want to put it in your backpack, but you kind of end up having to because your pockets aren't big enough, you're really gonna start hating your life when you have to do the whole 2 concussions per phone usage thing. It's not gonna be a fun thing to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Fossil. That's my real name. No, it's not. It's Jeffrey Brown, obviously. And that was the end of this video. If you liked and enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe. It really helps me out. Grows a small channel like mine, trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. One day we'll hit it. You should be a part of it. Until next time, take it easy. Peace.